So I have a lot of irrational fears. Let's just look up what irrational fear means, shall we? Phobia is a type of anxiety disorder defined by a persistent and excessive fear of an object or situation. The affected person goes to great lengths to avoid the situation or object. If the feared object or situation cannot be avoided, the affected person experiences significant distress. True. So, I got my coffee, by the way, from Starbucks, and it's very good. Let's get into this, shall we? So irrational fears. Bitch, I've got a ton of these. I don't even know where to start, to be honest. I guess we could start with what's going on with my throat right now. My phobia is that I'm just going to randomly not be able to breathe at all and just die. That's extreme. Now, I did have something like that happen to me like several years ago. A couple of years ago, I did have my throat close off and I died. I want to say I was like 14. I was standing in like the downstairs like formal living room, dining room area, and just all of a sudden my airway closed off. I honestly can't explain it other than that. It was the weirdest thing that had ever happened to me, but my airway closed off and I was sitting there struggling, gasping for air, trying to breathe, but I couldn't breathe. And so I ran into my dad's office and I like looked at him like, and I was like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Can't breathe. Like, I was trying to mouth that to him and I was just sitting there like suffocating until eventually my airway opened back up again and I was able to breathe. And I've never been able to explain that. It was really terrifying because it just came out of nowhere. It was random as fuck. And because I've had that experience, now I'm terrified of that happening again. Like I'm terrified of just being anywhere. The thought of at any moment, like I could be driving in my car and just not being able to breathe and like fucking suffocating at the wheel kind of thing. Like just, this is so morbid, dude. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. That's irrational fear number one. I have a huge fear of drowning. Now, where my irrational fear comes in with drowning is I'm terrified of drowning on a boat. I laugh when I say this because it's mostly like related to Titanic and to Poseidon. I don't want to go on a cruise, I guess. So it goes hand in hand. My fears are going on cruises and drowning for my irrational fears. But I will probably never go on a cruise because I'm terrified of either having the Titanic happen and waking up in the middle of the night and being in like a bottom floor cabin and not being able to get up to the surface because we're already sinking kind of shit and I just have to drown in my room. That fucking terrifies me. And then the other thing is I'm terrified of the Poseidon happening and being like on a ship and the boat flipping upside down and then us having to like, you know, fight our way up through the levels of the ship to get out from the bottom of the boat and like drowning in the boat because we're flipped upside down underwater kind of shit. So, oh man, the fears are real, dude. Fear number 3. Fear number 3. I'm scared of like, a lot of this is throat issues, to be honest. I'm just realizing this. I have a lot more that aren't throat issues, I promise. I'm just starting out with these because they're all kind of related. So I have a fear of like somehow my body not knowing where the food should go and me just like swallowing it through my air pipe and dying. And I know that sounds crazy when you say it out loud, I know. I know what y'all are thinking. Shit sounds pretty crazy, but I'm not crazy, I promise. I have a fear of that happening, cause I'm like, okay, how does your body know where things are supposed to go? Like, you don't fucking push a button and tell your body to put the food in the food pipe and put the air in the air pipe. It just is supposed to do that. But what if it doesn't do it? You know what I mean? And that's what I think about sometimes when I'm eating food, and then I almost choke because I freak out and I can't swallow. So I'm literally like doing this to myself. But yeah, that's irrational fear number 3. Fear number 4 is any kind of insect, mostly ones that fly. Mostly large, gross ones like crickets, grasshoppers, cockroaches. Yesterday was the nastiest. I had a cockroach almost land on me, and I literally could not stop thinking about that for hours. It was so fucking gross. Ugh. I don't like things that fly or that jump because they have a mind of their own and they're completely like in their own world, and they just fucking do what they want, dude. Like they're just there one moment and then they're like, ah, fuck you, bitch, and they just like grab onto you, you know what I mean? Like, you don't fucking know what they're gonna do. You don't know what they're plotting. So I don't like things that jump or that fly when it comes to insects. I don't know what number we're on. We're just gonna keep continuing. Another irrational fear that I have, this one's gonna sound wild. I have, it sounds so stupid. It sounds so stupid. I'm so sorry. Another irrational fear that I have is really dumb. I know this, but it is a fear that I have. And I think about this quite often, especially when I'm at work, because I work around technology. A lot of people that watch my videos know this, because they work with me, but my other irrational fear is, I don't even want to say this, dude. So, for iPhones or for, you know, iPads, any kind of technology, a lot of the time, something, how do I even go about this? A lot of the time, I imagine while I'm holding it or while I'm staring at it, what if it were to just explode and burst into my eyes? You know? It's mostly with devices that are like cracked and shattered too, because when I see the cracked pieces, I'm like, what if it were to just like burst up and all the shatters of glass just went into my eyes? Hi, welcome to my channel. It's I know how it sounds. It's fine. It's okay. Another fear that I have is getting mugged. Now I haven't been mugged before, but I am scared of getting mugged, because there's a lot of shady ass people where I live. Not like by my apartment, I just mean in the town in general. People are shady and like gross as fuck where I live. And I am not down with that, and every time I go to my car after work and there's somebody like walking behind me, I always like look at them to like let them know, hey, I know you're there, bitch. And then I also like walk even faster and then jump into my car and immediately lock the door, and then start my car and leave kind of shit. Another irrational fear that I have is swallowing things whole. I have a huge fear of jawbreakers specifically, and I think about this all the time, but I mostly think about it because I think that movie Jawbreaker kind of like freaked me the fuck out, like with her friends like putting that giant jawbreaker in her mouth and then like kidnapping her for her birthday surprise, but then the girl actually like swallowed it whole and choked and died. Trigger. I have a fear of things that aren't here, like popping out and scaring me. And I'm talking about like ghost side of things because I have a huge fear of the paranormal. That's definitely something that I am afraid of because I don't want to mess with that. I believe in it wholeheartedly. I believe that it really is real. So I have a huge fear in it. Sometimes at night, like I just think about like what if a scary ass like demon face were to just like pop up in my face while I'm trying to fall asleep, and then I'm just on edge because I'm like, what if that shit really did happen? You know what I mean? Like, what would you fucking do? And like, I don't know, just shit like that. I think about that shit all the time. And I really shouldn't, because it's like inviting that into your home. But I can't help it. Like, I have a big fear of that kind of stuff. I also have a huge fear of just like all of the lights going out at one time. Now I know that's like common, especially if there's a storm, but I think about it like in your everyday. Like, what if I was just at home and I wasn't storming and then just all the lights fucking went out? You know what I mean? I have a fear of being covered in insects. Luckily has never happened to me yet, but ever since I saw it on Fear Factor, like them being in a bucket covered in like maggots or like scorpions or snakes or kind of shit like that, you know what I mean? Like, that freaks me the hell out. I also have an irrational fear of like porcelain dolls, because they're really creepy. And I remember when I was younger hearing like a horror story. It was definitely like a made up one, like, you know, all the 2000 horror stories that your friends would tell you to like try to creep you out, but like it legit got under your skin and you like thought about it for weeks. That shit was real. But there was this one story that everybody used to like tell of like this porcelain doll that like was given to this girl or some shit, and she like climbed 1 foot of the stair every night, and she would always like, the girl would be in her room and she could always like hear the doll like calling her name closer each time, because she would get up one more stair step each night until eventually like she got up the end of the stairs and killed her or some shit like that. I don't remember the whole story, but that shit stuck with me and it freaked me the fuck out. And porcelain dolls just creep me out in general, so thank you. Next. Pass. I feel like I definitely have more irrational fears, but I don't know how long this video is already, so I kind of just want to end it here just to be on the safe side. If I think of any extras and this video isn't long enough, then I'll add them in. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Hopefully I don't sound like a psychopath. And I would love for y'all to check out some other videos that I have and like and subscribe. Let me know if any of y'all have thought of these irrational fears before, or if you have any of your own, and comment those below, because I would love to see if I'm not the only one that's crazy. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, then please like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Later.